Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on how to hire an SEO company, interview questions to ask. I'm Bob Hogan, the webinar coordinator today and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. And I'm going to be your host, and our presenter is Jennifer DeRosa. More on Jennifer in just a minute, but first some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit national partner of the SBA with over 10,000 volunteers nationally. And locally here at SCORE Fairfield County, we have over 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. And we offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners that you'll see on the screen. If Jennifer, could you move the slide, please? First of all, we offer free one-on-one individual counseling, and you can access that either in person, via video, via telephone, or text, however you want to do it. And you can do that by using that yellow bit.ly link that you see on the screen, or you can just go to our website and click on Request a Mentor. Secondly, we offer a wide range of business education programs like the one today, and you can do that in person or online webinars like we're doing right now. And lastly, we offer extensive resources on our website, including access to subject matter experts. Our next live webinar will be tomorrow, October the 4th at noon, and the topic is the Customer Journey Part 2 with Julia Giambali and Belito Garcia presenting. And you can find more specifics on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org. If you're on our website, we also have a large number of recorded webinars that cover a wide range of business topics, and you can view those at any time just by clicking on on-demand webinars when you're on our website. Just some logistics about today's event. We have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. However, you can ask a question at any time by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Just type it in and we'll take as many as we can up until the top of the hour. We will end our webinar sharply at 1 o'clock today to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be available on our website within the next day or so. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Jennifer DeRosa. Jennifer is the founder of Toto Coaching, an online website building course with weekly coaching to help small businesses and entrepreneurs build a solid, effective website that pre-sells their products and services and develops trust. She recently sold her successful website development agency, TechCare, founded in 2001, to coach others. And prior to forming TechCare, Jennifer was a consultant for such major companies as MBCC, US Surgical, GTE, GE Capital, Unilever, and Calvin Klein. I'll now turn it over to Jennifer. Jennifer, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your lunchtime hour or whatever this is with us. I appreciate it. I know your time is busy. And my goal during this hour that we have together is to give you some practical insights on how to hire an SEO agency. And throughout the next hour, I'm not just going to give you a bunch of questions that you don't understand what they mean. My goal is to give you a little education so that when you ask these questions, you're going to understand why you're asking the questions. And you might even ask them in a different way, or you'll ask different questions because you have a basis of understanding of what you should be looking for in an SEO agency. Okay, so Bob did a great introduction. There's a couple other things I'd like to mention. I am a graduate of MIT, a course that they ran, no code, artificial intelligence and machine learning, building data science solutions. And so I have done a couple presentations for SCORE Fairfield County on using artificial intelligence in your business and how you can do it right now. And if we do it again, I hope you come watch it. I'm not sure if it's on their website or not. I don't know, Bob. You'll have to ask Bob if you want to watch it. But anyways, it's really helpful to understand how you can use it in your daily life, running your business. And I'm also the future author of, the For Dummies series. So building DIY websites for dummies. I am currently writing this book, and I've never authored a book, and it's a lot of work. If you have authored a book, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of work writing. But anyway, so I'm writing that book now. It is actually on Amazon. You can pre-order it. It's not fully there, like doesn't have the picture of the cover, but it's on there. So if you like the way I teach, you might like the book. because I talk the same way in the book that I talk to you here. And I'm the owner of Total Coaching, as Bob mentioned. It's an online course that you can learn to build your own website, because no one is teaching anyone how to build their website. They might be teaching you how to use the software. That's not building a website. Just taking your text and your images and putting them in software. That is not building a website. There is so much that goes into building a website. One of the things is SEO that we're going to be going over. So that's what we teach you in the Total Coaching course. And we have live coaching once a week. So once a week we get together and you can ask whatever questions you want. It's awesome. And I am the owner of Total SEO. So we do SEO services for small and medium businesses around the country. So you can find out about that. I learned HTML in 1994. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing websites since before SEO was a word. And so I know the questions you're asking. I've dealt with a lot of customers. I know what you're looking for. And so I'm here to help you. That's my whole thing, is I am here to help you learn. And then a bunch of other stuff. I've been a lot of guest speakers, and I sold my company, as he mentioned, so that I can teach you. I can teach you how to do these things. So let's get started. What's SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. If you're here, you probably know what that means, but let me just tell you. What that means is doing specific things on your website and off your website so that you get returned in what's called the SERP, the search engines results page. Okay. So the SERP is when you do a search, and that list comes back to you, that list that comes back, that is the SERP. Your goal should be to be returned in position 1, 2, or 3, because we all know that's what we all click on. And that's probably what you click on, right? And now Google, if you use Google, it doesn't even page the results anymore. You used to be able to be like, you know what, let me just see who's on page 6 or page 10. You can't even do that anymore. Now you, as a continuous scroll. So search engine optimization is even more important. It's even more important than it was before. So search engines. What do we have for search engines? We have, here are some general ones, right? We have Google. That's probably the most important, the biggest one that everyone talks about and hears about, right? On the news all the time. Okay, the most widely used. Bing, okay. Microsoft, we have that search engine as well. Yahoo search, that's one of the original search engines. DuckDuckGo is one that it says you can, maintain your privacy while you're searching. And you do, actually, it's really strange. I don't know if you've ever done a search in Google and DuckDuckGo for the same search, but especially for items that are in the news or that are controversial, I advise you to do that search, because it's amazing the difference of what gets returned, really. Like, that's something for you to look at. Okay. Ask.com, AOL search. So, and then we have ones that are, Baidu is very popular in China. Okay, so those are general search engines. Okay, so when you want to come up in position 1, 2, or 3, because you're thinking about doing some optimization on your website, what are some of the things that, the agencies help you with, or one of the things that you should be looking at doing? There are things like backlinks, how much traffic you're getting, what words are being put into the search box, how optimized is your website, and your ranking. And there's two separate sections, like you can say categories of doing optimizing for your website. You can do on page and you can do off page. On page, what does that mean? That means doing things on your website that you can control. You can control those things because you own the website and you update it and everything like that, and you own it. So on page, what does that mean? That means things like writing a title tag, writing a meta description, putting your keywords in your content, putting alternate text on your images, making sure you have links on your pages to other section of content, okay? So there's a lot of things that you can do on your website. Then there's off page. Off page are things that other websites are doing that you don't really have control over, but you can try your best to optimize your off page. Most of that is surrounding backlinks, which we're going to be talking about. Okay, so I'm going to explain what that is if you don't know what that is. So don't worry. So there's on page and off page. And I want to mention that many websites are not optimized, and you don't have to optimize your website. You can go right now and build an entire website and not optimize it. You don't have to optimize it. But guess what? If you have any competition at all, they might be optimizing it, their website. And so if we're talking about, we got 3 positions to come up in, or even the top 10, right? And your competition is doing all their optimizing and you're not, guess who's going to come up in the top 10 positions? Not your website. So you may not even want to do this. You may not care about it. You don't have to. Certainly don't have to. But if your competition is doing it, you probably want to do it as well. Because you want leads. You started your business. You're working really hard, right? I mean, to start a business, I know it's so difficult. It takes so much time, effort, and money to start your business. And so once you get it going, you want to get those leads in the door. You want to show people all of the value that you provide, right? You are the expert in your field, whatever field it is. That's why you started your business, or you purchased a business, or you work for a small business. Your business is the best at what you do. And because it's the best what you do, you want other people to engage with you, and you want people to know about you. So you want to optimize your website. So when you're talking to an SEO agency or considering one, you want to ask them, what are you going to be doing? Like, what are you going to be doing? I can't believe how many people I speak to, and they say, oh, we're working with someone already. I'm like, oh, what are they doing for you? I don't know. You know, we pay them, you know, $2,000 a month, or $1,500 a month, or $600 a month, or whatever it is. Oh, they're getting us in position 1. For what? What are they doing? What exactly are they doing? You should know at least. You don't have to know all the technical stuff. It's kind of like, I had an air conditioning guy here yesterday. Okay. So he was here. I don't need to know everything he's doing. I don't need to know like his little measurements he's taking. But I need to have some idea of what he's doing, what I'm paying him for. He was fixing a dripping thing. So I know he was there to fix something that was dripping. So you need to have at least some idea. So I highlighted in pink, these are some of the these are all the things you can be doing. I mean, most of these SEO agencies are not doing all this. And some of this stuff really you should be doing as well. But I highlighted in pink some of the high level ones, right? Keyword research. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Competitor analysis, you know, on-page optimization. I was telling you, how well is your website already optimized? What changes do we need to make on the website? You know, creating content, optimizing your content, building links, local SEO. So these are all things that are like the most important things, the first level of what you should be doing. Because, you know, you can do all these things. Like, look how many of them, right? So if you have big, deep pockets and you really want to go for it, then do them all. But most of us are small business and we want to get the biggest bang for our buck, right? So we're going to do those first things. Okay. So that's the first question. Find out what they're going to do for you. Get a list. Be specific. Not, I'm going to try to get you in position 1, 2, or 3. That's not an answer. That's not an answer. Okay. The next question you want to ask are, do you follow black hat or white hat practices? Ask them this. What does that mean? So when you optimize your website, you can either follow the rules that Google and Bing, all the search engines have put forth, or you can try to cheat. Now, the following the rules is called white hat. The cheating is called black hat. Black hat might get you results in the short term. It might work. In the long term, it might end up resulting in a search engine ban. If you go into your Google Search Console, you can see if you're not coming up, you want to check and see if there's a manual action against you. So you want to follow white hat techniques. You want to do things legitimately. And this is the other thing about doing white hat techniques. When you do things that Google's looking for, like the legitimate way to do things, you're going to do things to your website that are going to last forever. You're not going to have to keep redoing them and redoing them. It's kind of like, you know, if you're going to build a new home, they dig the foundation one time and they put it in one time. And you don't have to keep digging the foundation, keep putting it in. Okay, you do it one time. That's the same thing with a lot of the white hat techniques. A lot of the white hat techniques, you do them and they last and they help you over time, because the longer your website's been around, the better off you are. You have something that's called a domain authority. Your domain authority judges your website by basically how popular it is and kind of how search engines might see your website, like view your website as a really reputable source or a non-reputable source. If you do black hat techniques, Google and search engines are going to start thinking your website is not reputable. Let's stop for a second. What's Google's business model, or any search engine's business model? Think about that. Their business model is to deliver the best websites possible. If they delivered crappy websites all the time and you're using Google, and every time you did a search for something, you couldn't find the answer was crappy websites, what would you do? You would switch. You would use Yahoo, or you'd use DuckDuckGo or Bing or another one of the search engines, right? Because you don't have time to waste on crappy results. So search engines, is in their best interest to return the best websites. If you are cheating and doing against their policies, doing things against what they say is okay, they're not going to return the website, because the reason why they have those policies is to have their algorithms understand the best websites that are out there. So if their algorithms understand the best websites and they understand a user's search intent, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and they match those up and you get good results, you're going to continue using the search engine. So that's their goal. So you want to follow the rules, right? You want to find out, are they going to do black hat or white hat techniques? Okay, I'm going to show you some examples of black hat in this presentation. It takes time. There's no guarantees you're going to get up in position 1, 2, or 3. If someone's guaranteeing you they're going to get you on position 1, 2, or 3, I would probably second guess and maybe get a second opinion. It takes time, because once you've given your money to these companies, they don't give you your money back. They're gone. They're gone. And then you're not 1, 2, or 3, but they're giving you a guarantee. It's a sales technique, right? So there's no guarantee, and it's going to take time. If you're going to do it right, it's not going to happen in 3 weeks. It's not going to happen in 4 weeks. You might see some movement pretty right away. You might see a little bit, but it takes time. You want to think of this as a long game, And if you haven't started doing SEO now, and maybe you're in the middle of a website redo, so you're like, I don't really want to work on my old website, you should start working on your SEO. You should start now. Because it's like, if you wait until your website is finished in 3 or 4 months, you've lost that time. So like, start now, and just know that it will end up paying off. So start on your old website, even if it's going to get replaced, because you can do some things. Okay. The next question is, who's going to make the changes to my website? Being in the web development field for so long, I own my agency, Tech Care. A lot of my customers would work with SEO agencies, and the SEO agency would want to come in sometimes and make changes to the website, and they wouldn't understand how it was set up. So they would come in and they would put code and do all these different things. And guess what? We'd have an update. We'd update. And it would wipe out their changes sometimes, because they would put the code in places that we were updating. They don't know your website. They don't understand it. So we at Total SEO, what we do is we give you all of the changes to make. If you need to have the changes made because you don't have a web developer, or you don't understand how to make the changes or whatever, that can be worked out. But for the most part, you want to find out who's doing them. You want to, and my recommendation is you have your web developer do them. And if you have a web developer right now, they'll appreciate that, because they would rather make the changes to the website than have someone else going in and messing up what they're doing. So just find out who is making the changes, okay, to your website, and then figure out what you're going to do. If it's going to be the SEO agency, make sure you talk to your web developer. Make sure you know what they're doing, because you want to know, if you own the website, what they're doing on your website. And they're going to put things on places on your website. And if it's the wrong things, like sometimes they don't understand your customer, which we're talking about next. And I have seen this multiple times. They start going for different words and things that you don't even want to get. I talked to someone who was, they do home construction in New Canaan, and Greenwich, and like really nice big homes, like huge, beautiful homes. And they do some additions and some remodeling, but they do big jobs, like gorgeous kitchens and big bathroom remodels. They do not come in and replace a screen. Okay, they're not handyman. That's just not in their wheelhouse. And they were working with an SEO agency, and they're like, yeah, we're seeing some results. And then they told me later on, they're like, he went to go to get a job that he got online, right? Someone contacted him online, and it was in Greenwich where they're building all these big homes and everything. And it was to like do some like little repair in a bathroom, and all these other big homes were getting built. He's like, I don't want this business. I need that business. And he found out that the SEO agency was optimizing for like all these handyman words. So, and then if they put stuff on your website, you have to undo that. So like, just find out who's making the changes to your website. Okay. You probably want to know what changes are being made. Like get a record, get a log of what they're doing. Right. Because as I just mentioned, SEO starts with the customer. And oh, by the way, I just want to let you know, if you put the questions in the Q&A, we will answer them at the end of this lesson. Okay. So if you want a lesson, this is the lesson, this webinar. Okay. So put them in the Q&A. SEO starts with your customer. You need to understand what your customers are looking for. What are their pain points? And sometimes it's not what you think it is. How you discover that is by creating a buyer persona. There's a ton of templates online. You can do it. It's an exercise is best done with someone else, not by yourself, because you know, it's sometimes hard to do it, to think of this of your customer. But creating a buyer persona is creating a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer and your terrible customer and all your customers, right? So you know how to talk to them, and then you know how to market to them. It is so worth it. If you haven't done one before, we do one with all of our SEO customers. We do that with you. If you have not done one, when I did mine years and years ago, it changed everything for me. It changed how I view new people calling me. It changed what my messaging was and what I should be saying to people across the board, across everything, across websites, social media, emails, everything. So I'm just saying, like, you need to understand your customer. If the SEO agency is not going to understand your customer, how are they going to know what words to go for? How are they going to know how to optimize your website? They're not going to know that. So you need to understand your customer. All right. And after you understand your customer, then you can choose your keywords at that point. And there's different types of keywords. There's long tail and there's short tail keywords. You need to understand the difference. Short tail is only 3 words or less. Long tail is adding on more words. You know, when you do a search and you have more words, that's long tail. All right. Keywords, you want to look at a couple metrics when you are picking your keywords, when you're choosing them. You want to look at your competition. All right. How is your competition ranking for certain keywords, right? But you also want to look at how competitive certain words are. So some words might be very, very, very competitive that you go for. If you are a realtor, it's going to be, you have a lot of words that are very hot, you know, accident attorney, things like that. Very, very competitive. If you have a low domain authority, I just talked about that. So if your website is not viewed very authoritatively by search engines, and you're trying to go for high competition keywords, you're not going to get returned. The better websites with the higher authority, they're going to get returned for those keywords. So you need to think about the keywords. You want to go for lower competition keywords, all right? And get it in that way and start to move up, and then you can go for the higher ones. So you just need to consider that. You want to ask them, well, how are you going to consider, what are you doing about the keywords? You also want to look at the search volume. One time I had a customer, I'm going to show you an example later. He was paying somebody $600 a month to do SEO for 3 keywords. One of them had 0 to 10 searches done nationwide per month. Why would you go for that? Why would you go for something that's 0 to 10? That's like going for, my son used to call ice cream Tanini. And if I have an ice cream shop, why don't I just go for Tanini? Because I'm sure that has 0 to 10 searches per month. No, No, I'm going to go for ice cream shop or words around that, right? So like, I'm not going to go for a made up word. So you want to find out the search volume. Are people really searching for these words? And if you're in a very niche industry and it's low competition and those words are like not searched that often, but when they're searched, they're very valuable to you, right? That might be okay. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a ton of searches. It depends on your industry. Then we have relevance, like how relevant are the words to your offer, okay? And that has to do with, needs to align with the user's search intent. What is the intent of the searcher? If you start looking in SEO, you're going to see the word search intent, search intent, search intent. Google's moving towards trying to, with AI and Bing, they're trying to figure out the search intent before you even type the words into the box. That is the goal. So you want to make sure the words they're choosing, right? So you want to ask the agency, how are you going to choose my keywords? Right? I've just told you some of the metrics to look at. There's other metrics. Obviously, there's a ton of other metrics, right? But those are the basics. So I think you feel comfortable now if you understood what I said. Ask them, how are you going to, who's going to choose them? All right. If they're going to choose them, are they going to show them to you? Are they going to be like my friend's husband's company who I didn't even know what they were going for? How are you going to assign them to the pages? Are you going to assign them to each page? Sometimes people skip that step. You want to have one keyword phrase assigned to each page. Okay. You want to find that out? And you want to know what's their methodology. Like what I just explained to you. Ask them. So now you feel equipped with that, hopefully, of how to choose the keywords. All right. The next question is, how are you going to optimize my pages? Are you going to give me a list of things to complete, or are you going to do them? And that's kind of the same question. Part of that is who's going to be doing the work, but how, are you going to tell me what to do? If I'm going to make the changes, are you going to tell me how to optimize my pages? You want to put the keywords in the text. You want to put them in the title and the meta tags. You want to put them in the headings. There's more things you got to do, in the image names, all of that. So there's places where you put those keywords. So that is what is search engine optimization. You want to understand your customer. You want to choose your keywords that your customer is going to be looking for that actually have some volume, and you want to choose those strategically. And then you need to place them where search engines are looking for them. Okay. It is just like when you go to a doctor's office and you fill out the intake form, you put your name, they know you put your name in a certain spot. You put your birthday in a certain spot. You put your gender in a certain spot. You put your past surgeries in a special spot. You put your medications you're taking in a special spot, right? You put everything in special spots. And when the doctor comes in, if they want to know what medications you're taking, they know exactly what page. Oh, that's on page 3, and it's third of the way down the page. And they go and they can read it because they know where to find that. Search engines are looking for information in particular places. The same thing. So you want to put your keywords that you've chosen well in particular places. All right. These are a couple of the places. There's more places in this, but like, are they going to tell you how to optimize them, or are they going to do it? Or is there no optimization going on at all? Okay. So you want to find that out. Next, you want to know if there's a formula for instances of keywords on the page. Okay. So your density, you want keyword density, the amount of, the percentage of words on the page. So you look at the percentage of words on the page and how many, and what's the density. You want it 0.5% to 3%. Otherwise, if it's more than that, it's called keyword stuffing. Okay. Right here. We don't want keyword stuffing. Have you ever gone on a website and you see like plumber in Darien, Connecticut, the best Darien, Connecticut plumber, plumbers, 24/7, in Darien, Connecticut. Like going on and on and on. You can tell when someone has optimized their website terribly. That's keyword stuffing. Keyword stuffing is black hat. Doesn't work. That's how websites used to do it. I don't know if you remember how old you are. I'm old enough to remember the beginning of the internet. You do a search and you come to pages with just links, all these links and these words down the page, links. Okay. And that was keyword stuffing, or people used to use, there was what's called the meta keywords, and you could put in the back end of your website any words you wanted to, and search engines use that. Well, you could put whatever you want. Like I'm Toto SEO, right? I do SEO SEO work, agency work, or Toto coaching where I teach people to build a website. I could put all kinds of things in there, like what's called, like during the wildfires, Maui wildfires. I could put, all kinds of, during the Olympics, I could put the keywords about the Olympics, and the search engines would index that, even though it had nothing to do with my website. So I got rid of that. It's called keyword stuffing. We don't do that. So you want to find out if they're going to keyword stuff, because that's not going to help you. It's black hat. And then remember what I said, you're going to go down. So you want to find out if they have any formula. That's an interesting question. They're going to know if you ask that. They're going to be like, okay, this person knows something. This is not a normal question to ask. But it's important. The next thing is, will you create new content? So a lot of companies will create, agencies will create new content. And that's what we do at Total SEO after we've optimized your whole website. That's the second we move into phase 2. We help you create content. So you want to create content. You want to, because do you know what? The more pages you have on your website, it is like raffle tickets. If you buy more raffle tickets, you have a better chance of winning. If you create more content on your website, you have a better chance of winning in the SERP, the search engine results page, right? Okay, so you want to create new content. Are they going to be creating the content or not? If they are, what's their strategy? Are they going to use AI? AI is okay, but I'm going to tell you, you can use AI to rewrite your content, to rearrange your content. If you only use AI, like say you are an event planner and you might want to write an article at the top, 9 things you should do before any event, something like that, right? You can get a great article from AI. Wonderful. The problem is it's the same content as every other article is out on the internet. There's nothing new. And do you know what that means? If you don't have new original content and it's the same thing as everybody else, you're not going to get return in search, because it's the same thing, unless you are one of the high domain, like Forbes magazine. Maybe you'll get up to the top, but most likely you won't. So the AI is okay, but it needs to be your content. It needs to be what you have to offer. It needs to offer something else, more experience. And if you are in a YMYL field, that means your money, your life. Those are websites that have anything to do, or industries that have anything to do with finance, news, health, and a couple others. But they're things that can affect your life, security. So if you are in one of those industries, you're being looked at, your website is being judged differently than, for example, my Total Coaching website. My Total Coaching website is not going to hurt anyone if they take my class or if I give them wrong information. It's not going to hurt anyone. A medical website, if it tells you to take 2 pills instead of half a pill, it can hurt someone. So those websites are judged differently. The update went out in March of 2019. Okay, or there was an update done. So if you're in one of those industries and you saw your traffic fall off, you probably got hit by that because you're not showing your EEAT, your expertise, your experience, your authoritativeness, and your trustworthiness. But you know what? I don't care if you're under YMYL or not. You should always show your EEAT, because you are the expert in the industry. You do have the experience. You are authoritative and you are trustworthy. So show it on your website. And how you do that is by writing complete content that has some of your experiences in it, some of your ideas in it, your thoughts in it. So you want to find out who's going to write those articles, and are they just going to give you generic crap that's out there everywhere else? Because what are you paying for? I guess if you're going to, that is helpful for people who are coming to your website that you want to teach people, but it's not helpful for search engines. And we're talking about SEO in this webinar. Okay. They also want to know, see, I have the HCU update impact. That's also there. Google has another update out called the helpful content update. So even if you're not in YMYL, if you are not providing helpful content, something above and beyond, and because the huge amount of the internet is duplicated, a huge amount. If you just write a generic article, that's another duplication. You need to add something else. You need to add something helpful. You need to add something helpful. And actually, I just wrote that chapter in my book for dummies about questions to ask. I just did that. It's in author review, but that is something we teach that in our class also too. And by the way, if you want a cheat sheet on this of the questions afterwards, write me an email and I will send it to you. My email is on the bottom of all the slides over here, and I'll give you the questions. So you don't have to be you can be scribbling it down, which is fine if you want to, but I can also send you it. So you send me an email. Okay, so you want to, and then you want to know, where is it going to be posted? Is it going to be posted on your website, or are they going to post it on other websites? And they give you a backlink. Okay, so let's talk about backlinks. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. Backlinks. Are they going to help with backlinks? This is a big deal. Backlinks, what that means is a link back to your website. So it could be your mom creates a website and she puts a link on her website to your website. That's a backlink. It's just a link back to your website. Some of them you need to pay for if you want to go out and get backlinks. So you need to find out, are they going to be free, or you're going to have to purchase them? The main thing, Google and search engines used to care about how many backlinks you had in your backlink profile. They used to care about how many. Now it's less about that. It's more about the quality. If you get a backlink from like Forbes or a news organization or an .edu organization, something like that, that has a high authority, and you get a link, oh my gosh, that's so great. That is what you want. That is what you want. You don't want links from spammy, terrible websites, which I'm going to show you in a second. It also matters the anchor text. So the anchor text is what is actually linked, the words that are linked. If you're going to get backlinks, you want not just branded links, which that's fine, or the URL, but how about what your offer, one of your services? If your service can be linked, search engines understand that. That helps them understand how the link is relevant to another page. So you want those links to be the anchor text to be good quality keywords, some of your keywords, if you can. I mean, you don't have control over that because someone else is placing them. Okay. And then you want to know if it's a follow or no follow link. A follow link passes the authority over. So if you get a link from a really big news organization and it links to your website, but it's a no follow link, that means you're not going to get the credit for getting that great, amazing link. But if you have a follow link, you're going to get it. All right. So you want to find out the authority. You're going to get the authority passed over. You'll get the link, but you won't get the authority. You want they want the authority from these high authority websites. If you worked really hard to get a link at maybe an association you belong to, and you got that link because you got to write an article. They wrote an article about you. That's so great. So you want that link. So you want to ask, are you going to be getting the follow links? All right. And backlink.io, Neil Patel bought it, I think, but it used to be run by this guy, Brian Dean, and he says backlinks are basically votes from other websites. Each of these votes tells search engines this content is valuable, credible, and useful. So think about the backlinks. A lot of people will buy backlinks. I've worked with many people who have bought backlinks, because they're like, oh, I need backlinks. I've heard of this. I want to get backlinks. And so they're promised all these links and they're going to pay for them. And the agency goes out and builds horrible websites, horrible. And then they put your links on those horrible websites. This happens all the time. You might know what I'm talking about. So I had that client that I was telling you about that was going for those 3 words that was getting for no searches on those, right? They were putting, I met with them. I met with my client at the time, and I met with the agency that was doing the optimization. And I said to them, I'm like, okay, can you tell me where you're getting the backlinks? Where you're putting them? I'm like, that's our secret sauce. No. Do not let anyone answer you that way. That is not an okay answer. This is your business. You worked really hard to build this business. You don't need someone trashing it. And that's what they'll do. So you don't get yourself in this situation. And if you've hired someone to do backlinks, you need to find out if you have toxic backlinks and where they've given the backlinks, where they've gotten them. You've got to find out. Backlinks are hard work to get. It is not easy to get backlinks at all. We work with you at Toto SEO to get backlinks, but we work with you and we tell you who to write to and articles that you might be able to get a link in and stuff like that. We don't go out and buy backlinks like that. So I'm going to show you an example. So I was so upset with this SEO agency that had a secret sauce, and they were totally ruining my customer. So I found them. You want to know where they were putting them? The links? I'm going to show you. Here is an example. This is one screenshot of a blog post. So they had this blog spot, right? This is for residential landscaping in Reading. Those are the words they're going for. Residential landscaping reading. Let's read this article. Recently, maintainability offers possessed the unmistakable anyway challenged put on people in general arrangement. While a couple of inquiry, the basic thought person life on planet should in the end be enduring. The exact related with this expression, particularly in much life, it doesn't even mean anything. They did this to thousands and hundreds of people, websites. I have a big list of them. I got a bunch of them. I know them. I actually want to contact these people, but I think they might think I might be creepy. So I don't know if I should contact them and be like, hey, these people did you a disservice. It's still out there. I can help you unravel it. You can unravel it. It's called disavowing links, but you don't want to go there. Just be careful about getting backlinks. Ask the question. All right. Question 9, and I'm going to answer the questions. I'll stop like in by 12:50 at the latest, and we'll go over questions. So if you have any, put them in the Q&A. Okay. Next, say what metrics do you help me fix with technical SEO? Do they even help this? Most of them don't. Some of them do. Okay. Are they going to help you with your site speed? Are they going to help you with your mobile optimization? Are they going to make sure you have an XML sitemap uploaded? You need to have one. If you haven't done that, you can do it through Google Search Console. You got to do that. Okay. Your canonical tags. Every page needs a canonical tag, right? Your broken links. Do you have broken links? If you have broken links, that is bad for SEO. That's one of the things. These are all things you have to fix. Search engines are looking at these. They're not only looking at keywords and backlinks. That is not all what you do in optimizing your page. They look at all this. If you have a website that doesn't load, that's one of the factors they use. If your website is really slow because you're hosting it on crappy hosting because you decided you wanted to get the $3.99 a month hosting, which is horrible, and you're on shared hosting with other websites that are all sharing the same resources on the server, and your website looks slow, you got to remember, search engines are in the business of returning the best websites. And what does that mean? One of the things it means it loads fast, because we all don't have time anymore, and we all have fast internet connections. We are not on dial-up anymore. Like we're not. We used to be. Remember that, but we're not using that. We are using high-speed internet. So your site needs to, these are some of the things that need to be fixed, okay? Whether you do it or someone else does it, we fix these things, we help you fix them. Like these are things that need to be addressed. So find out, are they going to fix anything, okay, on your website? And if you have a really, really slow website and you don't have your SSL certificate installed correctly and you have a manual action or indexing errors, I don't care how much you optimize your website. It doesn't matter. So you have to do these things. You got to do these things. You got to do them. If you're local, are they going to help you with local SEO? I just was meeting right before this meeting with one of my clients, and their Google business profile has the wrong address on it. And then out on directories, it's all wrong, and some of them are different. They're all different. Like it's like a total mess. Okay, so you need to have that. If you want to come up in the map, right? That's the map. It's called the local pack. So if you want to come up in the local pack here, you need to have your Google business profile set up. It needs to be. You need to claim it. You need to verify it. You need to have your primary service listed. It needs to be complete. You got to get reviews. Are they going to help you get reviews? And you should have posts on there. Okay. There's a bunch of things. You want to have it complete. You want to have it correct. Then that information that's in there, you want to make sure it matches all of your directories and citations that are on the internet. And if you don't know what directories are, you don't want to be in directories. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be in directories. You're in them. If you don't want to be in Yelp, I'm sorry. They put you in there, whether you like it or not. So let's use it to our advantage, and let's make sure all the listings have the same, because their search engines are looking for, if it says AVE on one and Avenue on another, search engines don't like that. They want the same address, the same NAP, name, address, phone number. They want it across all of them to show that you're up to date, you're taking care of things, and so it understands, so it doesn't get confused, okay? So you want to make sure that your directories and citations are all even, and you have a lot of them, and they're done, okay? And then, you want to have on page, you want your locations listed, you want your contact information, you want to have maybe a map if people come to your location, you can list some of the locations on your pages and things like that. Okay, so are you going to help me with local SEO if you're a local company? You want to find out about that, okay? And then find out how often you're going to meet. Are you going to meet once a month? A lot of companies do once a month. Some of them do weekly, some do bi-weekly, whatever it is, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just know how often you're going to meet, and what are they going to go over with you? Are they just going to go over the Google Analytics report? Are they going to show you how you're moving up, or are what are they going to go over? So see if that sounds like it's going to be of value to you, and find that information out. Then you want to ask them, if you don't have Google Analytics set up or Google Search Console, are they going to, who sets that up? By the way, hopefully you already have both of these set up, Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Everyone hears about Google Analytics, but I'm telling you, if you're a small business and you care about getting up in search, you want to have Google Search Console more than Google Analytics. Like, Google Search Console is amazing. It's so amazing. I do a boot camp on it once in a while. If you get on my list, if I do it again, I'll send it to you. Or if you write me that you want me to do it, I'll rerun it. It is so great, but it teaches you how to, it shows you where you are in search for certain search terms and how often people are searching on them and how often people are clicking on your website. Is so valuable and so great. And by the way, you need to own it. You need to own those accounts, not them. Not them. And if you have one already and you're switching web developers, I have seen this happen all the time. This is another thing they do. A web developer will do this, is they might set up a new Google Analytics account. Now you've lost all your old history. Like, that is so horrible. Like, keep your same Google Analytics account. You keep control over it, and Google Search Console. You add and remove users who have access. You control it. Okay. You want to control it. It's your property. So, and you don't want people in there messing around with things. So you want to make sure that you have access to it and you can add people. Ask them, how do they measure success? Are we going to look for particular keywords, how we're ranking for them? Like, how is it just gonna be this general thing? Are you really going to get specific? Like, how are you measuring success? Ask those questions. And then here's a couple other little questions. This one's a big one. I see this one all the time. Will I pay for one-time things over and over again? I see, like, people will send out a proposal, these SEO proposals, and it'd be like, every month you pay for Google Analytics setup. That's one time. Set up the account. Why are you paying for it every month? Okay. So one-time things up, doing your title tags and your meta descriptions, you do them once, you do them one time and it's done. Okay. Unless you want to change them, and you can change them, but like, it's a one-time thing. So find out if you're paying for one-time things over and over and over again, because these agencies is a cash cow. They got people who don't understand the technology. They act like they're all technical and they're doing all this stuff, which it is technical and there are a lot of things to do, but they act like it's this big mystery, and they have some special things that they can do that no one else can do. And you got to pay for this. It's like a magician. They're not magicians. It's not a magician. They should work with you. Should be a partner with you. Then again, ask them if your business falls under EEAT or YMYL. Ask them, see what their answer is to that, especially if you're in that industry. If you're in the financial industry, ask them this question. And if they don't even understand it or whatever, you're not going to get far, because you have to show, if you're in those industries, you need to show like your correct author. You need to have an author bio. You need to have contact information. You need to have all this stuff on the website. And so it's different. You need to show it. So ask them that question. And then we do any competitor analysis. So find out what they're going to be doing, if they're just doing it in a silo or they're looking at your competitors. And there's a zillion other questions to ask, right? But I think that those are really good. I think those are good for you to have a good baseline. Hopefully you have some knowledge now, not just a list of questions. I hope that's what I provided to you.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. We'll use the remaining time for Q&A. As Jennifer mentioned, and as I put in the text, please use the Q&A button if you want to ask a question. We'll take as many as we can up until the top of the hour. And so our first question, Jennifer, is from Richard. What app can we use to find out the keywords that are being used, more or less?
Oh, that's such a great question, Richard. So there's plenty of tools you can use. If you want to get really in depth, you're going to have to pay. But so first of all, hold on, let me back up. You can find out how search engines view your own website, what keywords they're returning you in search for, by going into Google Search Console. That's free. You can see where your position is for your keywords and how they think. The meeting that I had right before this, their event, they do high level event planning, like for like big companies, like globally, like Africa and all over the place, right? Like big entertainment. And you know what they're coming up for? They're coming up for dueling pianos. Okay, that is not like they are, that's one of their things, but that is like number one. Then they're not coming up for the one. So that's how you want to find out what words you're coming up for. That's one thing. But then how do you find out the competition level, like I was talking about, of what words you should be going for and the ones that you think you want to go for? You find that out by using a tool. You can use SEMrush. I use SEMrush, SEMrush. They do have a free trial that you can sign up for a free account. Sometimes a lot of these companies will give you a free account and you can get a little information, but not a lot. You can also use some free tools by Neil Patel. Ubersuggest is another one. But then some of the other big ones are Moz, M-O-Z, Ahrefs. So there's a ton of tools. So you can just do a search online and find out one. Like I said, most of them are paid. Some of them are free, or they'll give you a free trial with limited information.
Okay, great. Very helpful. Here's one from Kenny. Is it true search engines cannot index dynamic pages, only static pages? My website creates dynamic pages via my database information. Do you know of a solution to get my dynamic pages indexed?
Well, WordPress is a database. So WordPress is a database as well. So they are indexing some of that content. They are indexing, like, for example, if you have events or you have something is paged, sometimes your pages will get indexed. They will get, like, it'll index page 3, and that you don't really want that index. That's not something you want indexed. So I'm not sure of what platform you're on, but you should be getting some indexing of your pages that way, even if they're dynamic.
Okay. Another one from Kenny. What's your favorite SEO tool subscription website?
Well, I think I just said, like, I use SEMrush, SEMrush. I have like an agency account. It's not cheap. They're not cheap, these tools. So there's tons of tools that you can use, like, to figure out what you should be writing about. I do another webinar on repurposing your content, and I show a bunch of tools like using Answer the Public and using, Ubersuggest, like I said. So mine is, like I said, I use SEMrush, but there's so many that you can use out there. I just happen to be using that one.
Got a couple more. Here's one actually that came in via the chat from Edward. How do we know if the person who is going to do our SEO understands our type of business? And he goes on to say, I'll give you an example. We had an SEO company call us to inform us that we are not showing up for copying printing services in Connecticut. I was like, wow, this person doesn't even know our business. So my reply was, oh, of course we're not going to show up for that because what we do is copy machine sales and copy repairs. So, and then it goes on like that. So I think the gist of the question is, how do you know if the person is going to understand their type of business?
That's exactly what I was talking about. That's the exact information I was giving. That happens all the time. It happened to my friend's husband, who is that home country. They were spending $1,500 a month, and the people were optimizing them for handyman words, you need to find out. You need to find out how they're going to know that. It starts with your customer. That's why what we do at Total SEO is we do a deep dive into. We have an hour-long session where we talk about your customer and we talk about what you do. And prior to that, we have an hour-long session just doing discovery, and I find out what your business is and what kind of who your markets are and where they are and all of that. So yeah, that should be part of onboarding. That should be part of onboarding, and that should be part of your agreement with them. So if you have hired an agency and you're not getting traction, you're getting traction on the wrong things, it's because they didn't take time to understand your customer. So that's exactly right. It's a very good point.
Okay. One from Richard now. Say you have an office in New York and one in Philly. Can you have two different addresses for local SEO when you were talking there about getting in the map?
Yeah, you should. You should have multiple addresses. Absolutely. You should have them. So you should set up multiple Google business profiles. And 1,000,000% you should have that. Yes, you should. Those are different Google business profiles. It used to be called Google My Business. That's what it used to be called. Now it's called Google Business Profile. It's what comes up when you do a search for something, you know, on the right-hand side, you see the name of the company, and then you can see reviews, and you can click on some buttons, usually website, directions, call, whatever, you know, ask question. And that listing there is called your Google Business Profile, which you want to make sure you have access to and you own. And if you have multiple locations, you want to create one of those for every brick and mortar location that you have, every place. 1,000,000%.
Great. We don't have any more questions in the queue, but we still have time for a couple more if people want to ask them. Or Jennifer, do you have any last comments or things that you want to emphasize while we're maybe waiting here?
Well, I just, you know, I've been in this industry a long time. And so, you know, one of the things about SEO that's been disturbing to me over the years is that it is like they've started to, I feel like they've created the web development industry into like this used car business, like type of thing. Like you don't have a good feeling about used car salesmen. You know, they have a reputation of being kind of slimy and like trying to make a quick buck and pass one over on you and deliver you a lemon. And it's kind of what a lot of the SEO agencies have done over the years. And I just, you know, I started total coaching, and I was, you know, teaching people, and I was finding that just, you know, and now I run that now, but I'm not creating new videos unless we have something to add on to that. So I just started to think like all these people were like talking to me about what they were getting into and what things have happened. People were making appointments with me to help them unravel stuff. And I'm like, this is awful. And you know what? This is what I'm going to be doing SEO for people, because this is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong what they do, because they take advantage of people who don't know what they're getting. Because it's not like if you hire someone that does a terrible job of a website, which is very easy to do that, by the way, you know, but you have a tangible product you can look at, and you can say, how someone else can look at it and say, oh yeah, that's bad. SEO is kind of like more this idea, and it's like you can't, unless you have a tool like we've been talking about, like SEMrush or Moz or Ahrefs or something, you can't see it. And so you don't know what they've done for you. And so you need to find out what they are planning on doing for you. And like that other company I was telling you about with the home remodeler, my friend, the home builders, my friend's husband's company, I said, can you find out what they've done for you? He's like, I don't know what they've done. I'm like, can you find out? Send them an email. And he wrote them an email. And then I'm like, here, he wasn't getting an answer. And so I wrote an email. I said, copy and paste this, put it in an email, ask them what they're doing. And finally, they sent him a link to their services page. It's like, that's not what you've done for me. That's your general services you provided. It's not what you've done. So like, it's very upset to me. It's very upsetting, because I am like, I'm small business. I understand small business. I know that people can get tripped up in this area. I get tripped up in other areas, you know, like if I'm going to hire maybe an attorney or an accountant, I maybe don't know the best, and probably maybe you do. Maybe you know a better way to hire an attorney. I don't. I know how to hire an SEO agency. So I'm trying to share my knowledge that I've known, and I come from a website background. So it's not only, I'm not getting into the game of SEO, right? So I understand websites. So I want to help you grow your business. SEO is like one small piece of growing your business. It's like one part, right? Then you have your marketing efforts, which can include social media and everything. And also it matters your messaging on your website. You're giving the right message right away. Do people know what you do in the first 3 to 5 seconds? Do they know what you do on that top row on your homepage? You know, getting that message down. Is your home page beautiful? Is your website beautiful? Does it load fast? All those things, right? And then do you do network events? Do you do billboards? Like, what are you doing for your marketing efforts? SEO is one part. It's one section of it. It's important.
That's great. Well, I think there are no additional questions. So just as a reminder to everybody, the webinar has been recorded and will be available within the next day or so on our website under on-demand webinars. And our next live webinar is tomorrow, Wednesday at noon. And the topic is the customer journey part 2 with Julia Gambale and Belito Garcia presenting. And again, you can get more specifics on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org. Again, if you want to take advantage of that free individual counseling, you can use the link that we showed earlier, or you can just visit our website and click on Request a Mentor. And if you could fill out your evaluations that are being sent at the end of the webinar, they would be of great help to us. So again, on behalf of SCORE, thank you all for attending our live webinar today. And in closing, a big thank you to Jennifer for presenting, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jennifer.
everyone. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye-bye.